Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Melchizedek Chronicles. I'm your host, Dr. Kenny Williamson. It's good to be back. Here we are again in the great state of Arkansas on this wonderful podcast. I don't know of any other place that I'd rather be. So, having said that, I'm glad you guys are here, whoever's listening. I'm glad you're listening. I hope that something on this show interests you enough to keep coming back. If so, that's great. So don't forget, I have a couple of different websites out there. I've got itsflatbro.com. I've also got truthseekersministry.org, or kennywilliamson.com will take you to that same ministry website. All of these podcasts are recorded or placed on to that website as well. So you can watch them from your computer, from there, which I believe they're from YouTube. You can watch them on YouTube, or you can watch them here on Spotify, or you can listen on Spotify and listen on any of the other podcast platforms. I believe Spotify sends them out to a whole bunch of different ones. Okay. So we've got that going on, if you're interested. Also got Patreon, also got Rumble. And I've just recently trying to do something with Instagram. I'm trying to just get some stuff posted on there. Don't have anything much going on yet. You can always look me up on there. I think it's the same thing. Melchizedek Chronicles, Kenny Williamson. Also on TikTok. So trying to sprinkle out there a whole bunch of little things just to try to get, the ultimate goal is to get people to get to the websites, really, or the podcast and maybe learn something. Or at least open your mind. That's what I like to say. Having said all that, here we are again. If you've been watching the news, the fake news at all, you've probably watched, the Artemis, the pagan goddess Artemis mission has crash landed into the ocean, right? So they've got them back. Here they are. If you didn't see it, I'm sure you noticed they've got this, capsule that's landed in the ocean and it's all burned up except for the NASA logo. And people have said on there, they're like, man, I wish I knew who made that logo. It's the only thing that withstood the heat. Let me see if I can find a picture of that for you. I know you've probably seen this. Well, if you haven't, let me see. Okay, I've got that thing right here. If you can see this is a picture of the capsule, that supposedly landed in the water. Let's see if you can see a picture of that. There it is. If you can see that, there it is. If not, that is a picture of the capsule that supposedly crash landed in the ocean. Supposedly heated up to 5,000 degrees. There's other ones where it even looks more burned than this one. But you can see the Artemis logo and the NASA logo on there. Looking pretty good to have been 5,000 degrees. Right? I don't know who screen printed that on there, but give me some of that stuff, Everything else is burned up, but the logos on there are just perfect. But hey, what do you expect from a Hollywood production, right? So, anyway, that was a pretty funny one. And then, if you've been paying attention, we also had the woman fake astronaut. She was really telling all about how she was, all these things that were happening in space. She's got her hair down, hat on, obviously covering an earpiece, because she's really talking about this stuff and the earpiece stops. And she kind of does, holds her ear kind of, you can tell she can't hear it. And she's looking down. She stops in mid-sentence. She doesn't know what to say because somebody's reading this to her. See, this is not real. It's fake. So then she goes, uh-oh, and pauses awkwardly for a long time before she finally starts trying to make something up. So, she's really talking about this wonderful life-changing thing that happened with her out in outer space and her seeing the earth, and it's a lifeboat, you know, that she can get back to it, and then because she doesn't know what to say. So she's not saying anything from her heart because it's made up. She's acting, and it's the worst acting you've ever seen. I'm sure I can find that if you want to see that. Let me just pull that up real quick. Okay, I've got that pulled up here too. Now this is a minute long, and it's very painful to listen to. I'm gonna be honest with you. This person here is a fake, a fraud, and a liar. Okay, you're fixing to see this. Just listen to it. If you're not watching this, you don't need to see it anyway. Just listen. Okay. Let's see if we can get this to work here. Let me share the screen. It's not very big, but it should be able to get the volume. Here we go.
And honestly, what struck me wasn't necessarily just Earth. It was all the blackness around it. Earth was just this lifeboat hanging undisturbingly in the universe.
Malfunction time.
Uh-oh. So I may have not learned, I know I haven't learned everything that this journey has yet to teach me.
Okay. Yeah. Now, if you didn't see that, because you're listening on audio only, she's standing here in front of a bunch of people dressed up in a monkey suit, right, with her hat. She's got her hair down over her ears where you can't see her ears. She's obviously got a microphone in one of the ears, if not both. So she's giving this speech, and everything she said was a lie, but then she's going on. See, somebody's telling her what to say. So now you would think an astronaut that just came back from this big epic journey and watched Earth come up, you could, retell some of your emotion, maybe tell somebody what happened. But no, we're doing it with an earpiece because it's fake. We wouldn't want to screw up, would we? So guess what? She stops mid and puts her head down. You can see she's waiting on a response and doesn't get it. You heard the pause, and she's like, uh-oh. And then finally he's like, okay, I haven't, and she starts in probably ad-libbing at that point for another couple seconds. It's a joke. What's funny is she says, oh yeah, the Earth just hanging out there. Really? I thought it was traveling at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator and circling around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. But you just hanging out there? Not moving? And it was just black all around it. Really? Where are all the stars? Oh, that's right. You can only see stars if you're on Earth looking to outer space. But if you're actually in outer space with the stars, you can't see nothing. Can you? It's a joke, folks. It's a joke. Okay? It's the biggest joke I've heard in a long time. April Fools. I mean, what'd you expect? This is an April Fool's joke designed to suck your wallet dry. Okay? So anyway, that's the kind of clowns we have up there. This lady. Oh, boy. You go back through and look at all the stuff, and I've got it posted. I've got one of the YouTube videos on my website. I didn't do it. Somebody else did it, and they show you all of the stuff. It's kind of like, the devils love their numerology, okay? The devil loves it, and all his minions love it. They eat it up. So that's why, think about it. Satan is behind the globe deal. He's behind outer space. He's the only one smart enough that could come up with all this ridiculous stuff that actual scientists believe in. A regular person could never come up with this. Okay? So now, according to the Bible, which most of these fools don't believe, Satan's number is 666. That's his mark. That's his number. Okay? And he's going to implement his mark, his number, halfway through the time of Jacob's trouble, tribulation. That's biblical. But these fools don't believe the Bible, right? There's no such thing. That's ridiculous, according to them. Really? Well, why is it that, the Earth's circumference, when you figure out the 8 inches per mile squared, how many ever, whatever, it's 666 something. You take the tilt of the Earth, you got a 90 degrees, and that's what they figured on. It's like 23.4, according to NASA. What's the remainder? 66.6. It's traveling around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. Everything they do that Satan does is 666, right? So all the math equals 666. It's never ending. Well, that's what the Bible says is Satan's number. Coincidence? Well, if you're a fool and an atheist, I guess it must be a coincidence. Me, it's no coincidence. Okay? It's pretty obvious what's happening. Well, we got the same thing on this Artemis, which is a pagan goddess. A guy posted it, and let me post this. Let me get the picture for you, just so I can remember as well. Okay, got that pulled up here for you. Trying not to waste your time with me sitting here searching. Okay, let me put it up on the screen if you can see it. If you can't, that's all right, because I'm going to read it to you anyway. There it is. And for some reason, this screen doesn't work anymore where it shows me in there too. I don't know what the problem is. So, Artemis 2 mission by the numbers. Let's look at some of these 33. So, guess how many pounds of thrust the booster has? 3.3 million. 33. How many cubic feet of living space is in this little capsule? Well, 330. 33. How many meters is the capsule height? 3.3. 33. How many pounds of personal belongings were they allowed to carry with them? 3.3 pounds. Imagine that. Oh, and by the way, part of their things they had on in their videos was these little kids' bracelets, like with the little bitty beads on them. The little cheap rubber bands, and they change those out every day. So I guess if they're 3.3 pounds of belongings, out of 3.3 pounds, they decided to take a whole bunch of kids' bracelets with them with little beads on them. The stretchy ones? Some of the ones you used to buy, you can eat. You can stretch the string and eat the beads off of it. They're wearing those, not the edible ones, the plastic ones, supposedly on a space mission in outer space. Can you imagine what would happen when that thing shatters? If it shattered and all the beads went everywhere, you'd never find them because they'd float around. They'd be floating into people's eyes. They'd be floating into the machinery. But don't you worry. They went in outer space, so they don't have anything to worry about. Okay, let's talk about some more 33s here. 3.3 pounds of water for the thrusters. Okay. And this one, I really like this one, okay? Omega, because I have an Omega watch that I bought many years ago. Omega comes out with a new watch for this deal. The Omega X33. And they're all wearing one. So all their watches are Omega X33. Before they were the Speedmaster, the Moon Watch, for all the moon missions. Now we've got the Omega X33. 33. Artemis 2, if you run it through the, what do they call that? The gematria. It's where it has everything. Artemis 2, like the A is a 1, R is a 9, T, you add all that up, 33. Coincidence. Guess how many pounds of thrust in space this thing has. Now, on the booster supposedly has 3.3 million pounds of thrust. In space, it has 33,000 pounds of thrust. 33. So, and the only other one that's not the 33 is the footage, the foot tall of the whole rocket, and it's 322, which is skull and bones, which we've talked about. That's their number. So, I mean, am I the only one that finds it very suspicious that every single number they use is either 33 or 666? Now, obviously the 666 has to do with Satan. That's his number. The Bible gives it to him. The 33, well, I think it's a couple different things. Number one, according to the Bible, a third of the angels fell with Lucifer. A third. 0.33. Okay? So that's one of the ways they do it. The other thing is Jesus Christ was crucified when he was 33 years old. So one way this is a slap in the face to Jesus Christ, so they constantly mock when he was killed. They also want to remind people of how many of them there are out there that fell with Lucifer. So Lucifer's number is 666, a third of the angels fell, and Jesus Christ was 33. So 33 is a big deal in their numerology. It's all over everything. That's why, even a Mason, in the Masons, as high as they go, you can become I was a 32nd degree Mason, I think, by taking tests and becoming a member. The only way to become a 33rd degree Mason is by special. They have to invite you to do it. Only certain people get that. So anybody just can't be that. You could join the Masons and get up to 32nd, but you can never get to 33 unless you're invited. So that's a special deal. So there's lots of things that have this 33 involved. Okay? So, yeah, I just wanted to show you that right there. The other thing that I wanted to really talk about was, and I've talked about this multiple times, okay? And the problem with talking about these subjects like this is the stuff gets taken down, censored, or banned, or whatever. So Facebook has taken several down, and they call it misinformation. So if you talk anything outside the box of what the government says is true, then you're spreading lies and misinformation. You can't have your own opinion, as that's misinformation. So, well, and in certain circles, you're not supposed to speak in code. That's against the rules. You're not supposed to say anything that means something else, right? Okay, well, I've said this before, and I know you know what I'm talking about, okay? If you go to the doctor and you get bitten by a rattlesnake, you may get sick because rattlesnakes are poison. If you get bitten twice by a rattlesnake at the doctor's office, there's a high probability you're going to get really sick and die. Okay? I personally know a bunch. Quite a few. Let's just say it this way. And some is a whole family. They went out and they got bit by a rattlesnake. And you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the little thing I like to say with that is it puts the needle in its skin if it wants to work again. I didn't make that up, but you know what I mean. So that was going on a few years ago. It puts the needle in its skin if it wants to work again. By the way, that is a twist of the lines of a movie, right? Where, the guy, he says, it puts the lotion on its skin if it wants to eat again or something like, or no, it puts the lotion on its skin unless it puts the lotion on the skin or it gets the hose again. So basically this person was being hosed down with a water hose, and if this person didn't want to get hosed down, they had to put lotion on their skin. It puts the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again. You can Google that. That's a famous movie, right? Another Holly weird movie. So it puts the needle in its skin if it wants to work again. You see what I'm saying, right? So you go get your rattlesnake bites because you were told that was a good thing, even though if you had a lake of discernment at all, you would know it's not. So I know a lot of people, one in particular family, they all ran out and they got the rattlesnake bites 2 in a row, back to back. They're all dead now, by the way, except for one. No, I take that back. 2. 2 of them of this group of family, which is like 10 people, 2 of them are barely clinging on. The one right after he got his dual rattlesnake bites, he had blood clots throughout his whole entire body, and so now he has to be on anti-clot medication for the rest of his life, and so that messes a bunch of anyway. Last leg type deal. Another person that I know, well, it just goes on and on and on. Okay, this happens. It doesn't matter who you are. If you took the rattlesnake bites, if you got them, I mean, I'm sorry. You either survived, you either fell over within 15 minutes, or you lasted 2 weeks and then did it, or a month and did it, or a year and did it, and now they're saying 5 to 6, 7 year. There's going to be a 5-year die-off. I don't know. They're dropping like flies, all I know. So, anyway, having said that, I've got the picture here, and I'll show it to you. Let me share the screen. Make sure it's up here. NASA logo. Of course, I've got one in the background there. I wasn't going to show you that one yet, but NASA logo. You've got, of course, it doesn't have a snake on it, but the theory is that red thing that goes across the front is actually a serpent's tongue. So here's the picture of it. If you can see it, you can Google it. And it's also got the round thing that shows in there. They're saying that round thing is actually called Ouroboros or Ouroboros, which is a pagan occult and ancient Egyptian symbol of a serpent eating its own tail. And that, and along with the serpent's tongue, is all tied in together there in the NASA logo. Okay, now, I can't prove that it's a snake because they don't show a snake, but I can prove this is a snake. Okay, well, let's just pull up this one real quick. Now, take a look at this one. There you go. That is your regular old hospital, doctor, pharmacy logo. 2 snakes on a stick crawling up to the top. Snakes. Now, why anything to do with medical would have snakes on it? That's a good question. But, you know, the pharmakia, biblical translation is sorcery. Okay? Think about that for a second. Sorcery. So, pharmakia, and this is a pharmakia, the pharmacy logo, EMT logos, lots of them have the snake coming up them. Makes you wonder why, don't it? Well, think about it. Here we are all these years later after this logo was introduced. Got that old snake out, that old serpent. Who is that old serpent anyway? None other than Satan himself. Lucifer, the dragon, the serpent. Guess what animal shows up in the Garden of Eden to fool old Eve? Was it a bird? Nope. Was it a kitty cat? No, it sure wasn't, was it? It was a serpent. So we know it was a snake, don't we? Now, here's an interesting fun fact if you don't know this. I'm going to give you some facts here. 'Cause I'm a big Bible trivia guy. I like Bible trivia. Whenever God cursed the serpent, he cursed the serpent and basically told him, you will have to crawl on your belly from this point forward and eat dust. And that's what a snake does, right? So if that's the curse, what did the serpent look like before the curse? You see? Because if the snake had crawled up there, because, you know, it always shows a picture of a snake tempting Eve, right? Yeah, It does, and that's great for picture purposes, but that's not biblical, is it? Because the serpent was cursed after the fact, and after the fact, he was cursed to forever crawl on his belly and eat dust. So that must have meant that the serpent was not crawling on its belly, eating dust, when he presented himself to Eve, right? So maybe he had wings. Maybe he had legs. I don't know. One can only guess what this serpent looked like before he was cursed into the form that we see today. There's lots of things were cursed then. The ground was cursed, everything. I mean, pain in childbearing. I mean, just go read it for yourself. Go read that passage of the Bible. You'll see everything that was done. It's horrible. We're having to live with it today. We're living with the sin from Adam and Eve. We're born sinners. We inherited it. That's what it is. Anyway, snakes. I'm going to try to get back on that. You know how I get on these side treks, these high, I don't know what you call it, soapboxes. Make a long story short. I worked with a guy many, many years ago, and he knew I was a Christian, and he was a self-proclaimed atheist. And he told me, he said, I don't understand. He said, you Christians, you claim that we're born sinners, right? I said, yeah. He said, he goes, how can you be a baby and be a sinner? I said, well, because you inherited it. Well, that doesn't make any sense. How could you inherit something that you've never done before? It doesn't make any sense. I said, well, it's going on right here on the earth, right here on earth today, in modern day society. Nobody blinks an eye at it. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, think about it. Over there in Europe, you've got a king and a queen, right? Well, when this queen gets pregnant, that baby, let's say it's a boy, inside of her, the moment she's pregnant, that baby has inherited that kingdom. It's either going to be a prince or a princess by birth. Did it do anything to earn it? No. It simply inherited from its parents. Do you see? And it goes right down the line. If your great-grandparents was the king and the queen, then you're a prince or you're a king and a queen. You inherit it. You didn't earn it. The moment you were conceived, you got it. Okay? When you were born, you get to exercise it. Oh, you're the prince. You're a princess. One day you're going to be the king. One day you're going to be the queen. Whatever. So he goes, well, that makes sense. Exactly. So because Adam and Eve are ultimately your way back parents, right? You inherited the sin from them. It's not that you were born a sinner because you're a sinner, because you did something wrong as a baby. Your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents had a disease called sin. Okay? And you inherited it from them, and it keeps getting passed down, passed down, passed down. That's how you're born a sinner. The only way to get rid of that is to be born again. Not born again of your mother, born again of the blood of Jesus Christ. Okay? So, having said that, we'll get back on snakes. So, snakes. Lucifer shows up as a serpent, a snake. The snake is cursed, the serpent to crawl on its belly and eat dust from now on. So what do we have? We have all of our doctors and our pharmacies using snakes as their logos. The NASA deal appears to be a snake's tongue. Everything has to do with the serpent, don't it? Is there any wonder that when you go to the doctor these days, they want you to get a snake bite? You see where I'm going with this? Don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. And here a while back, I don't know how, time's flying now, but it's been a few months. Phil Robertson died from Duck Dynasty. The guy that started it all, he died. He dropped dead the other day. I didn't even know the guy was sick. And I was wondering what he died from. And somebody posted an interview of him talking, and he was talking about how he had, well, let me see if I got it right here. You really need to hear it from the horse's mouth. Hold on. Well, I looked. I can't find it. I saved it somewhere. But anyway, Phil is sitting there talking. He's being interviewed. You know, they had their little podcast deal. And he was mad because it was right around this time. Somebody was mad at him because he didn't have a mask on. And so he was saying, I'm not going to wear a mask. You're not going to force me to wear a mask. And he proceeded to tell this person, he said, I'm not going to wear a mask. My wife's not going to wear a mask. He said, me or my wife, we have never got sick with COVID. We have never had it. And we've both been vaccinated for it. And we've never had it. And we're not going to wear a mask. And then that's when it stopped. It's like, there you go. There you go. The man got rattlesnake bit. He got bit by a rattlesnake, and he didn't live much longer after that. He went right downhill. Now, I would have thought a guy like Phil Robertson would have known better, right? I mean, I've watched his stuff. I've listened to his stuff. And we're going to actually go out and believe... We're going to believe the snake. So the snake crawls up and says, let me bite you. And you do. And then he says, well, let me bite you again. You'll feel better. And he bites you again and you get even sicker. And then, if that's not enough, I think now it's like, let me bite you an additional 15 times. Oh, you're bound to feel better in the end. Seriously? That's where we're at right now. So, again, people literally dropping like flies from getting rattlesnake bit. And people are still doing it. They still believe the snake. That's what it is. It's a snake. So, basically, to me, it's become painfully obvious that most of what the fake news, anything you see on this fake news, any of it, it all revolves around Satan, Satan's projects, 666. And then you're going to start noticing everything is 33. I mean, 33 is an odd number, right? But it's 33 everything. Or snakes. You get a lot of snakes. So you're going to get snake bit. You're going to get full of snake venom. Come to find out, a bunch of stuff has snake venom in it, supposedly. So you're going to get your snake venom. We've got snake logos. We've got snakes this, snakes that. We've got pagan gods. Apollo, Artemis, all of it. It's all pagan gods. All of it. This is pagan god worship. Okay? If you're watching this Artemis program and you believe it, and you're one of these people cheering it on, you are a devil worshiper, is what you are. You are worshiping the devil by doing it. You're a devil worshiper. You can't get around it. I mean, they're putting out a crafty name so the dumb don't understand, but that's what I'm here. That's why I'm here. Okay? Straighten it out for you. If you're not thinking real clear, you don't have your noggin on right? You don't have your thinking cap on. That's what O'Kenny's here for. To set you straight. Artemis is a pagan goddess. Okay? All pagan gods are either Satan himself or one of his demons, one of his fallen angels. It's all pagan. It's all Satan. So if you say, go Artemis, you might as well just say, go Satan. Oh, go Apollo. Okay, Apollo's a pagan god. So you might as well say, hooray, Lucifer, because that's what you're doing. It's one and the same with a fancy name. Do you get it? It's Baal. Baal is Satan. It's Baal, if you want to call it Baal. It's Jupiter. It's Saturn. It's all the same. Okay? It's Leviathan. The name goes on and on and on. All the pagan gods, that's who that is. It all goes back to the same one. Lucifer, Satan, the serpent, the dragon, the snake. You get it. That's what this is. Why do you think in the photo ops of the Artemis do, the guy reaching out, has a picture of Satan on his hand? And that's in the photo op, so you can see Satan with all of his satanic logos on there that God only knows what they mean. I guess a Satanist knows. Probably a spell or something out on there, some kind of weird symbology all on the finger so you can see it. It's all satanic, folks. And the guy, let's pretend for a second that it was real, which is not. The fake astronaut sitting there allowing some dude with Satan all over him to handle you before you go up on a mission that could risk that you're risking your life. Come on. But no, we had to make a special deal there where you can see Satan. Because see, not only do you have all the 33s in the logos and everything I just mentioned, you've got all the 666s and all the stuff that has to do with the earth and the moon and the sun, according to them. So why not just show Satan's picture in the process? You've got a satanic name. It's a pagan fake god. So let's put the icing on the cake. We're all worshiping Satan here. They are. They're all worshiping Satan. This is a satanic deal. It's all has to do with rituals and satanic and people worshiping them. So why not go ahead and just put Satan's face right in front of it, which is what they did. And people, a lot of people, not everybody, a lot of people are still too stupid to realize it. They honestly think those people went to the moon, around the moon. They believe the whole program. Hook, line, and sinker. Satan has got them wrapped around his little finger. He's playing them like a harp from hell. You talk about no discernment, no nothing. But that is exactly why I'm here. To show you the error in your ways. To open your mind to think about what's going on around you and why. It's all tied together. It's all snakes. It's all the serpent. That's who's running the world. The earth. Okay? The Bible says so. He offered it to Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ turned it down. So you can have it all. I'll give you all of it. The cities, the money, the everything. All you gotta do is worship me. He says, no, get out. Not interested. Satan's got it all. He's running it all. Okay, if you're a Christian and you're stuck here, we are not of this world. That's what the Bible tells you. We're in this world. We're not of it. This world is a satanic world. Now, when I say world, I don't mean a world out in outer space. I mean this world we live in, which is a flat plane called the earth. We're in the world, not of it. That's what we're called to be as Christians. All these people you see out here and this stuff screaming and yelling, and they actually believe this mumbo jumbo, they're of the world. They're worldly. That's what that's called. They're of the world. They want to do stuff the world does. All they care about is the world. They don't care about God's stuff. Otherwise, they wouldn't be interested in this junk. But anyway, that's where we're at, boys and girls. That's where we're at. Yeah, I just thought I'd throw out that. It came to me the other night about that snake. It's like everything is snake oriented these days. Even the NASA logo has a snake tongue on it. Look it up. Okay, now they're going to say that's not true. But you go look at the Vatican deal. Their building looks like a giant snake with fangs where the Pope hangs out. Snakehead. Why do you think that is? Because they worship the devil. They're almost open about it. Okay? I'm sorry. If you're a Catholic and you don't read the Bible, you go by their little catechisms and stuff, you're going to hell. They'll have you in there worshiping a man and a pope, not Jesus Christ. So if you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ and are not praying to Jesus Christ and ask Jesus Christ to save you, then you're going to hell. Okay, you don't get it through a priest. You don't get it through some fake father up there who's, wearing upside down crosses and everything else. Right? I mean, they make it painfully obvious. Their big auditorium, Google it, looks like a snake head. They wear all their crosses upside down, which symbolizes Lucifer. The list goes on and on. They wear a big hat. The big hat he wears with the big funny looking shape on it and everything that's a fish head. And you go back and Google it, all back in the pagan deals, all their priests, they worshipped a fake pagan god called Dagon, which is a water god. A fake god of the sea, Dagon. And guess what he has? A head of a fish. So they all wear a big fish head on top of their heads. You think that's from Jesus Christ? You think Jesus Christ is running around with a fish head on top of his head? Seriously? No. No, that's your fake pagan gods that they worship. So they wear it on their head, right out in the open. But see, if you don't have any discernment, you don't know that that's a fish head. You just think it's a big, weird, funny-looking hat. And it is, representing a fish head, representing Dagon, a pagan god. That's all what these people are about, are pagan gods. It's how they worship them. And it's how they get you to worship them, is they put them in your face 24/7 and, sprinkle, something real pretty on the name, and they get you repeating it. I mean, how many times have you heard the word Artemis here in the last, few weeks? I mean, prior to that, had you ever heard the word Artemis, the name Artemis? Artemis, Artemis 2, Artemis 2, Artemis 2, Artemis 2. That's all you hear is Artemis, Artemis, Artemis. Anytime you look on the computer, it's Artemis. Turn on the news, Artemis. So you've heard a pagan goddess's name, 1,000 times in the last few days? And probably repeated it. That's a form of worship, by the way. That's what they want you doing. It makes Satan feel real good when you keep saying his name over and over and over, and you believe it. Oh, look at what they did. I'm so proud. Seriously? At this point, you may need to have your brain checked. That'd be my guess. I saw a meme, I guess that's what they call them, the other day. There was at one point that people actually believed that professional wrestling was real. And I remember people, they were ignorant as all get out, right? And so then, of course, it was obvious that it was fake, and they admit that it's fake. It's a staged fake production. But people kept watching it. They didn't care. They still watched it. So that's where we're at with NASA now, by the way. At first, people believed it. Now it's painfully obvious that it's completely 100% fake, CGI, bogus. It's nothing more than money laundering, and people still don't care. They still watch it and believe it. Some. Anyway, having said that, I think that's it for today. I wanted to get on here. Let's see, today is Sunday evening. I need to wrap this thing up. Got to get it uploaded. Yeah. So, I guess that's it for today. I appreciate you listening. Have any questions or comments, you know how to contact me. truthseekersministry.org. It's flatbro.com. truthseekers2012 @gmail.com. You can always email me. Let me know what you think. I'm keeping an eye on this Artemis 2. Okay, they've got so many things, and now that these fake astronauts are back, it's no telling what all they're going to say. Just like that lady, you know, they can't give a 1-minute speech without somebody telling them what to say in their ear. Oh yeah, I mean, if I took a trip to town, I could tell you, I'd say, hey, I did this and I saw this and I did that. I could talk for a minute easy. I wouldn't have to have somebody telling me what to say about what I saw in outer space, would I? I mean, you'd have so many stories, it'd be unreal. You just want to talk about it all the time. Say, this is what I did. You wouldn't believe it. Oh man, it was great. But you know, when you're sitting in a studio somewhere, a military base, Texas, I don't know, Florida maybe, California, I don't know where they ship these guys off to do their fake CGI productions. They dumped them off in the ocean wherever, so they had to be somewhere near there, I guess, or they flew them over and dropped the capsule, something, or it was all CGI, I'm not sure. Anyway, thanks for listening. Hope some of this helped you. Hope it opened your mind. Have any questions? Email me. Thanks for listening. Until we meet again, God bless you.